So as of today, my wedding is less than 2 weeks away, and I'm so excited. I cannot wait to marry Nazri. Throughout the past few months, I'd say, I've been, thinking and pondering what it's going to look like to be a married woman, to have a husband, to come home to him every day, and it sounds pretty exciting, and I can't wait for it. But there's just one thing that I've been thinking about, and it's the idea that, on my wedding night, I'm going to give up my virginity. And although for most people, that may be something that sounds super exciting, because it is, like I can't wait for it as well, it brings up this issue to me that I realized was kind of deep down in my heart that hadn't been surfaced, is the idea that, I think past through all these years, I built my identity on being a virgin. From the very beginning, when I became a Christian, when I was younger, middle school and high school, I was brought up in the Armenian Christian church. And while it was an amazing community, I realized that, in that community and in many other Christian communities, we idolize the idea of being a virgin. And we say that, this is what we're building our faith on. This is what's so important. If you're a Christian girl, you must be a virgin. And if you're not, like, what's going on? As I've been processing the idea of getting married and the idea of giving that up, I started realizing that, since I built so much of my identity on that and identified with that so deeply, even to other people that don't think the same way, I've kind of used that to set myself apart. And instead of saying, oh, I'm different because I love Jesus and follow him, I literally have said I'm different because I'm a virgin and I adhere to these certain set of moral codes and moral rules. And, I think that that's, while it's great to save yourself and while that's honoring to God and important and amazing, there's also certain challenges that come with it when in regards to our Christian faith that I don't think people normally talk about. They just talk about don't have sex, don't do this, don't do that. But what about, what sort of idolization that causes when we do follow those rules and the challenges there? So I started thinking about the causes and effects of this within the larger community. So for example, when I idolize the idea of being a virgin, what I do is I'm saying that I'm worth more than other people, which is totally not true. If you're a virgin, that's awesome. That's awesome you've been able to save yourself, but you're not worth more than the girl sitting next to you. I just think that when we idolize virginity and make it the ultimate thing, what we're saying is we need Jesus less. We're saying that, yes, Jesus is there and he's great, but I need him a little less than that other girl who's worth less, which is not true at all. So I just want to bring up that challenge to you guys, is to look at yourself and say, yes, rejoice in the fact that you've saved yourself, but also look at yourself and say, how do I view myself because of this? Do I view myself as worth more than someone else? Because if that's true, then what you're doing is what we're doing as a community is we're isolating those people. And we're bringing that into our churches, and we're saying that, oh, if you haven't saved yourself, you're worth less, and therefore you're going to be in isolation. And you know what? Those people leave the church. Once they get into high school and they have certain experiences and they feel isolated, they leave and they don't come back because of that one sin. And it hurts me to think that I'm part of that. I've been doing that my entire life. And every time we look at a girl and say, oh, I wonder, if she's had sex before. Oh, did you hear what, him and her did? And all those things. What we're also doing is making sex a bad thing. We're training ourselves to think that sex is bad, that it's negative, that, it has these certain connotations. Because, even me thinking about going to my first night of marriage and having sex, it's hard for me to think of that as a godly thing, that's something that God designed, because my entire life, all I've been taught is that we need to avoid it, to keep it away, to, cross it out in our books and don't even think about it. But, God did design it, and he did make it pleasurable, and he did make it something that, we want to do, of course, within the context of marriage. But I just want to bring up this larger issue of what place are we putting that? What place are we putting that in our lives, in our thoughts, in our hearts, and how is that affecting how we view ourselves and also how we view others? One verse that really hit me as I was actually at a church conference once was Romans 3:20. And it says, "For no one can ever be made right with God by doing what the law commands. The law simply shows us how sinful we are." And that is because we need Jesus. We need Jesus no matter what, no matter if we're virgin or not. We need him equally, no matter what our experiences are. So that verse, yeah, just really penetrated my heart and made me realize that, you know, I'm no better than someone else because of what I have or have not done, but it's because of what Jesus has done in my life and who he is, and just the joy that he's given me, and that I'm able to have a relationship with him because of that. Now, again, after saying all this, I don't want you to think that I'm downplaying the idea of saving yourself. I'm not. I've saved myself, and I can't wait, you know, to experience that with Nazarene. But I just want to bring up this idea that there are challenges that come along with it. And again, it's an exciting thing. And just look within your heart. Look within who you are. How do you treat others? And how is that affecting the larger community? And we can stop it now, and we can welcome people in no matter where they've come from or what they've experienced before. So thank you everyone for listening, and I hope that this touched your heart too, and that you can take action upon this and just think about it more deeply and challenge yourself. Because once we realize that we are sinful, no matter what we've done, we can start becoming even more closer to God than we've ever imagined before. Thank you.